Locutors of Trek.
On screen.
Hello, and welcome to the Locutors of Trek Villain Symposium, where we will tier rank from F to S. There's no E. We've been over that last time. There's no E's in these rankings. And S stands for, it did stand for Star Trek, but now it stands for Sinister. But we are going to tier rank 105 or so.
106. We ended up with 106.
Dave's still typing away over there.
We just realized there's probably about at least a handful more we could have thrown in here that we left out. But hey, we got to cut it off somewhere. We wanted to be 75, and then we went to 100, and then we ended up at 106. So
we tried really hard to get it to 75. We're cutting it down. It's like, let's create this giant
once
list.
We added that
let's
Ryza
start
guy
at 200 and get it down to 75.
Yeah.
But you know, we're a bit Star Trek crazy over here. But you know who else is crazy? The villains of Star Trek. So we're gonna rank them and I figure we'll rank them on the performances of the actors that play them, maybe the success of their villainy, perhaps how much story sense their villainous ways makes. You know, we'll throw it all together and see what we come up with.
The higher we rank them, the better. Like the more villainous they are, the more higher we're going to rank them, right? Or at least, like, what's our criteria here? Is I guess my question.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. I mean, we'll set up a baseline, and then we'll see what we're doing, just like we did last time. We've done this before with captains.
Yes.
At the captains' convention, and we thought we would do the captain's foils next. But I am your host, Davan S9. And I have a wonderful panel here of Star Trek rankers, podcasters. I have my co-host, my cousin, my co-cutor. No, what did I had a cool name I was going to use. It had cousin and locutor in it, and now I've forgotten it.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm here, though. I'm cousin Dave here to join you. And...
I know what it was. My low cousin of Trek.
That's what.
Yeah.
Look, I am low cousin of Trek. Yes, that's me.
Yeah, my low cousin of Trek, Dave. And we also have
S tier. I give that an S tier for villain. Too soon?
Dave,
was
Dave
that bad
is
pun?
definitely an S tier villain.
No, we're definitely throwing Jody onto this list, though.
You heard you. Don't worry.
I'm sure you did. We also have Ashley Millard with us.
Hello.
Of the Trouble with Trivia fame, of the Bajoran Workers. And we also have a special guest, first time joining us on any of our wonderful shows here, from the Starfleet Leadership Academy.
There you go.
Podcast.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of, actually. I've been consuming a bit of it lately here. Nice. And Jeff Akin, thanks for joining us.
It is an honor to be here. I'm very excited to do this. We have just a tiny task in front of us. I think when we first talked about this, like, we're going to have 15. I'm like, oh, yeah, no problem.
Did we start with 15?
No, I just made that up, actually. It's a fun story, right? How it all kind of builds up.
It was just Jeffrey Combs in the beginning.
Yeah, it's just which Jeffrey Combs is the S tier. And, of course, it's the one, you know who.
Brunt.
Got Kira.
It's Shran, the one that's not even a villain.
What? No, it's Brunt. Liquidator Brunt. But let's get right into it, I think, since we have so many. So what we'll do
here,
and Dave Puxley, my locutor of Trek brother, will join us at some point here, I'm sure. So we have a chart.
I don't know how far to go in, but okay. Well,
so
who's our baseline? Who are we starting with?
We'll start with a baseline. We'll try to create a baseline, and we may not get there, but we might. And Dave and I will go back and forth, and we'll kind of throw it out to the panel, or each other, or whoever, to make the case for that particular character and place it somewhere, and then the debate can ensue. I'm gonna start off here. Why not? I'll start off with a class. Well, we got to create a baseline, don't we? So let's make it obvious. I think this is probably the most obvious S tier I can come up with, and that would be. Now, I hate them so much. I don't even want to say this name, and I shouldn't have that much legitimate hate for a
fictional
real
character.
Person. But I do. I am not a fan of this person, and I'm just killing time because I'm looking for my banner.
I was like, why don't you tell me who it is? And then
Okay, here we go. Gul Dukat.
Yes,
He's the best villain in all of Star Trek. I hate him. I hate him so much.
I figured you were going for him.
The performance is so good that I end up arguing with people online all the time because they forget how evil he is. They're like, "Oh, he's not that bad." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Have you seen Deep Space Nine?"
Fire caves, baby. Come on. Like just
One man's villain is another man's hero.
But like, it gets bad and dirty and nasty with him too, like sex slaves and all kinds of bad stuff. He's bad in every way you can be bad. Cults, he's a cultist. Like, my God, do I have any arguments here?
No,
that he's an S tier.
S tier villain, absolutely.
Awful.
Yeah.
Just awful.
But so wonderfully written and performed, and the way that he kind of goes back and forth between being an ally to the crew of Deep Space Nine and then back to villain, and he starts off he's in the very first episode and then the very last episode too. You know, like how can you really? And he's so good in the show. So no, like absolutely S tier for me.
100%. Marco Limo's born for this role. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, couldn't be done any better.
Like you see him in interviews in stuff too, and you're like, is he like playing Dukat right now, or is he just like that guy?
I think he might be I think some aspects of his personality actually are in Dukat, and maybe I wouldn't like him in real life, but who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. I love the performance.
I think he'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I think sometimes he does genuinely try to be a good guy and does try to be good, but he's a villain to the core, and it just doesn't last. He can't. He goes back to his nature, and that's what makes him such a great villain.
See, I don't think he does. I think everything he does
genuinely
is disingenuous. I don't think he's ever genuine.
I think there's a few. I think with his daughter, that's genuine. Until
he tried to kill her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he did try, but then his nature wins out in the end.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I hate him.
He's like the ultimate I'm the main character in my own story guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate like narcissist villain, but he's a powerful figure in Cardassian politics, and you kind of understand why like Sisko tries to work with him and tries to make a relationship with him and all these other things. But yeah, not great.
All right, why don't you try to grab us a baseline letter here, Dave?
Well, do we want to figure out who the I guess do you want to figure out who the F tier villain is?
Yeah, let's go to the bottom. You got a one off the top of your head who's really bad?
I don't know if anyone stands out in this little crowd here, but I would say maybe let's see, F tier villain. Maybe this one from Turnabout Intruder. Her name was Dr. Janice Lester, and she was the one who, it's in the very last episode of Star Trek, the original series, she like switches bodies with Kirk because apparently women are allowed to be Starfleet captains, according to that episode. Yeah.
Oh
have you not seen this episode?
I block out a lot of TOS for the sake of my head canon.
So I would put her in the F tier as sort of being lame. Where's my baseline?
Well, you won't get any arguments from me because I don't recall her very much, to be honest.
It's not much to remember. She steals his body. She pretends to be him for the episode until Kirk and her body kind of convinces Spock to undo it, and then there's kind of some stuff there. And that's about it.
I think it could have been cooler if I don't think the actor was very good. Like, it was just, I mean, let me rephrase that. William Shatner playing the role was actually awesome. Like, I think he was having a lot of fun, just like
playing, her as her. I guess the character she's playing,
but
I remember this now. Okay,
the woman, the actress, I don't know her name, but like, just oh my gosh, just milk toast, just nothing happening there. And also, I think like it's a cool idea for a story for 1969 that they immediately invalidated. You know, they're just like, we're doing this because I want to be a captain and I want to show. Also, immediately we can't. Yeah, it just
It's
contrived.
almost it kind of leaves this stain on Star Trek to say because it's the very last episode of the original series. They knew it was going to be the last episode. They knew the show was being canceled, and then they throw this sexist like idea that in the future we're not going to let women be the leaders of the ships. Like it's kind of like stupid. So I would put her there.
That bothers me about Klingon culture too. Like I love Klingons, but they don't let women serve on the council and stuff, and that kind of bothers me.
So, okay, do we want to like maybe go through all the original series people while starting maybe with what's his name? Gary Mitchell from Where No Man Has Gone Before. Where does Gary Mitchell fit for you? Because he's kind of a victim, and then he's mind controlled by this. Mitchell. Or is he mind controlled? He was like, he has got the silver eyes and he was going to kill things, but then he kind of comes out of it
by something, right?
He's almost like he's possessed. I don't know. But Kirk kills him in the end. He also created that grave for Kirk that said James R. Kirk. He didn't even know his middle name or initial. So how good of a friend could he have been? But anyway, guys, where do you think Gary Mitchell falls?
Like F or D?
D tier.
I think he's a pretty hardcore villain. Like, okay, because here's the thing. Because Dr. Daner, right, Hot Lips Houlihan, also got the silver eyes thing going, and she didn't go all batty.
Yeah, she didn't go full bad. See, that's right.
Like Gary, I think just really Gary's just a jerk, and this just unlocked that in him, and then he went for it. And I think that like dude did a great job portraying him, and it had a cool story to it. I thought it was dumb that like he's like this super mind guy, and then he got beat up.
Yeah, but he was Kirk's friend, like your best friend, and he was the first officer before Spock, I think. And so yeah, like he's I don't know. Ashley, where would you put him?
I think C.
C.
I think he's in a good spot in C.
Okay. I'll acquiesce to the crowd on Gary Mitchell.
All right. Next villain we have, guys, is from the episode. It was.
Oh, you're going in order? Oh, I'm gonna throw a big wrench into that.
Of course. Why would we go in order?
But no, that's too boring for me. But you go next because I gotta go let my cat in. Be right back.
Okay, well, we're gonna go boring, guys, next, and we're staying in the original series. The next one is the Salt Vampire from the episode "The Man Trap," who murdered many people. So with the salt sucking, and was also a shapeshifter. I would say less than Gary Mitchell. Kind of was more feeding. D tier villain.
They really dropped the ball in this one. Yeah, D tier, because this could have been a really awesome story, about what do you do when you're faced with the last of a species, and blah, blah, blah. But instead, they were just like, yeah, that's just a monster and doing monster things. I think D is a pretty generous placement.
Any
dissent?
No. No. But we're in the... Okay, here's a... See if I can find a villain.
An A-level villain. In original series?
Okay. No, I'm mixing it up. We're not going in order. That's crazy talk.
Why? Then we get through it all. Then we can compare original series villains to other original series villains.
And that's what's boring about it.
You don't like the original series enough. That's your issue. You didn't watch all 70 episodes.
I've definitely watched them all, but man, it's hard to stay awake during all of them.
All right. Well, lead us on, Davan.
All right. So here's an A villain, maybe even an S villain, so I might mess that up. Elixis from Deep Space Nine.
Are you out of your mind? A-level villain?
Yes, I think she's an A villain.
Where is she? Where is she? I'm trying to find her.
She stuck Cisco in a box. She manipulated an entire group of people that became this like.
She let people die of diseases that were easily curable.
Mm-hmm. She would like horribly abuse the citizens for like minor infractions. It doesn't get much worse than that. Like she's like kind of a real world type character as well. Like she's like just like a despot, like a dictator type character.
I really disliked her in the episode. I agree with you, and she's very evil, and like just that look Cisco gives her in that episode. But she's also pretty forgettable. Like I think
Not for me.
I would take her down to B at the highest. I can maybe even put her next with Mitchell, sort of.
Oh,
even.
she's better than Gary Mitchell.
She's better than Gary Mitchell.
Yeah, I don't see that at all. Gary Mitchell was hardcore. She's literally just a jerk.
She's just like one of those hippie,
she's like a
Earth
well
focused
as a
people,
villain though.
anti-technology.
Like
anti-progress,
super controlling and manipulative.
Yeah, she also sends
And
that woman to have sex with Cisco.
And led to a powerful episode too. It was a powerful episode.
It was a powerful episode, but I think
Actually, we need some.
Of course, she's super evil. Don't you know how hard it is to grow tomatoes?
Yeah, don't you know? Yeah, we're not even to editing yet.
I'm an A or B on her because I think she's high on the villain list because she thought she was doing good and was that evil.
Yeah, she did.
Like, she was doing that in the name of being good, not just pure evil. Like she thought she was doing the right thing and was torturing people and like
she marooned an entire group of people on a planet against their will. But then they all wanted to stay, and then I wanted to slap all of those people.
That's bad too. Like she's so insidious.
Yeah.
B tier, I can only go as high as B. I can't go.
Yeah, I can see B, but I love that actually because and I love it too from Deep Space Nine standpoint of like our two DS9ers so far, oftentimes thought they were doing the right thing.
Right.
Theme, right?
And that's the worst. That's the worst villainry. That's the leaders of cults and the leaders of these mega churches that think they're doing good and think they're doing the right thing in the name of God or the name of whatever it is they believe in, and they just absolutely just treat people horribly.
Yeah, no, that's that. Okay, I think consensus here. Okay,
we didn't get an A tier. You find us an A tier then, Dave.
I think I have an A. Might even be an S. I'm going to General Chang from Undiscovered Country.
I think A's fair. I think
Wreak havoc and like
super charming.
The dogs of war.
Beyond that, what's there? Like he's super charming.
He's so good. He's so fun. His performance is amazing.
He's very fun.
To be or not to be.
It's my favorite movie of all time. Like I love that.
In space, all warriors are cold warriors.
Yes.
He's so hardcore. And I think on the theme of like doing what he thinks is right, like he is that resistance to change. You know, this is the old way, and we're going to kill everything that Takuvma told us we needed to do. We will no longer Klingon rock back. Like we won't be Klingon anymore. Like he was holding on to that, and I think again he was a hero in his own story. He was perfect for.
And he thought he was doing the right thing too. I think that's maybe one of the criteria we want from a villain is that they sort of don't see themselves as a villain, at least not purely.
Except in some like rare circumstances where some people are just delightfully evil and they know it.
Yeah.
But we might find a few of those as well.
Yeah. But Chang is so good. Like, is he worthy of S tier? Maybe. But
I'm stumping for an S tier right now.
Okay.
Star Trek 6 would have been garbage without him. Garbage.
Don't wait for
Oh no way! That's like the best movie. That's a very witty script.
Because of General Chang.
I'm going S, man.
Ooh,
come on.
Okay. What do you think, Ashley?
I would put him at A, but I'm okay with him being at S.
Okay, we'll leave him at A for now, but he's...
We'll leave him at A, and Puxley can have the deciding vote on that one.
All right. Leave him at A for now, but I feel we got to come back to him later on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look, I'm not totally opposed to S either, but we'll see what Puxley says on that. Because he's this like remain Klingon kind of Takuvma, so, like you say, kind of guy. Yet he likes Shakespeare and reads Shakespeare.
In the original
going
Klingon.
on there.
So it's
in the original
Klingon. But he's quoting
Tickle us, do we not laugh? Prick us, do we not bleed?
Okay,
wrong us,
shall we not revenge?
Shall we not revenge?
It's the only reason I know any Shakespeare. I mean,
and a Canadian actor in Christopher Plummer, and we actually have his daughter Amanda Plummer also to be ranked here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got our baseline for now.
Okay, so who's next?
Okay. Well, let's go with Soren. Tolian Soren.
Tolian Soren. I heard that time is a fire in which we burn, Davan.
I heard that too.
Is he up at Chang level? Maybe not. But he also thought what he's doing, he also thought, well,
his
not
motivations
right,
are kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very personal, I guess. Very personal to him.
he just wants to get back to the Nexus. He doesn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, not to minimize the disease, but he's basically an addict who's just like, this is awesome, and I need to get back to where it was. He's chasing the dragon.
He
taking
kills
it in.
Kirk.
He does
And
kill
he
Kirk.
was destroying planets that had people on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they weren't just abandoned planets that like he was killing. He pulled a Cisco. Like he just murdered a ton of people.
The first sun he blows up has no people except for the space station. But then, he was gonna destroy an entire solar system just to get to the Nexus, which was gonna kill, a lot of people.
Millions.
Yeah, that was prevented, but he kills Kirk only because Picard got the do-over in the Nexus. It was kind of
Right.
A tier, B tier. I'm kind of like he's not an S tier for sure, but
No, he's not an S tier. And if we end up putting him on A tier, we have to make Chang an S tier because Chang is better than him.
Chang is better than Soren. So, but I feel like he's
And
better than Alexis.
Yeah, if we
I
put
think
him,
Alexis is pretty nasty, but
I feel like if we put him B, then we'd have to move Alexis down.
It's not just. I also think the performance and the
I agree with that as
charisma
well.
of the villain, or something like that. The je ne sais quoi. Like, I don't think she has
Okay.
it enough. So that's
let's
why.
make Alexis a C then and move Soren to a B. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I can live with that.
Okay.
Kirk couldn't, but
All
I
right.
can.
No!
All
It
right.
was fun.
It was fun. Yes.
Oh,
For the
my.
5 seconds.
Dave. To you, Dave.
Anybody I want?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna pick randomly.
that's what we do.
We're
we
picking
do here.
Sela.
Okay. That's a good pick.
Where does Sela go?
A.
A tier?
I think so.
F.
Oh, wow. Not a Sayla fan.
If Sela never showed up, it wouldn't
Yeah.
make any difference to
Any
the entire
difference?
story.
Yeah.
She's
What about the episode where Data becomes captain and they have that whole little fun? Dana
Yeah,
would
did-
never
that-
become an acting captain if it were not for Sayla.
Could have been anyone else. You could have put Tomalak in there. We could have got some
I-
Jakar doing that, right?
Ah, you're convincing me. Okay.
I would put her D with the Salt Vampire because
Wow.
because
You know what?
because
I'm okay with
the
that.
only reason people like her and have any is because it brought Denise Crosby back. If it hadn't
It's
been
true.
her and it had been any random actor, terrible villain.
But she also works with Lursa and Bator, and I like Lursa and Bator. So
I
guess
like
that
them
kinda
too, but I can.
Swayed her in my mind a little. But
yeah.
I'm okay with D.
Yeah, like I'd say like D or C is sort of where I would be at the highest, but like, I think based on the consensus here, I'm okay with leaving her down in D.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's move on to Dr. Ira Graves.
Dr. Ira Graves. I had to remind Davan who this was. He was the grandfather of Data, or the grandfather in quotes.
Yes, that's what confused me. He's like, Data's grandfather. I was like, what?
But he's really he was Noonien Soong's like mentor basically, and then he also took over Data's mind. The episode "The Schizoid Man" from season 1, I think. He's like he's pretty forgettable.
He's just pure narcissism. Like,
yeah.
Where are we going to put the pure narcissist other than Ducat?
Well, you got Janice Lester.
Most of these people are pure narcissists, though, I suppose.
True.
But he kind of turns good at the end, so I don't know.
Does he?
Well, doesn't he do something? I can't remember now what he does. So he's kind of forgettable, and he's also like
He's
his
an
big
F, I think, for me.
F tier.
He's
Yeah.
not as cool as
I could
Sela.
see that because
F for forgettable.
Forgettable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he just like they convinced him he was wrong. He's like, yeah, you're right. You can take me out of Data. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, he
That's
kind
a
of yeah,
weak
because isn't it like his
Yeah.
daughter or something is like, no, don't do it, and then he's like, you're right.
No, it's not his daughter. I wish it was. It was this, like... So he wanted to be in Data's body so that he could, like, hook up with this young assistant.
Oh right, like his assistant who he felt like he was too old to date or something.
Yeah,
That was like-
it was creepy. He's just a creepy old man. It was gross.
That was like so much of season 1 and 2 TNG of like, I'm an old scientist and I want one of these young
Yeah.
whippersnapper
Oh my
girls.
God.
Those
That
old
was
scientists, that's what I call them.
That was the whole first season.
Yeah,
We didn't
pretty
even
much.
add Jameson because he's in the admiral list.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of
our,
those.
our villains contain no captain, no Starfleet captains, and no admirals. That was our rule.
Because then we would have had 200 people.
Easily.
Easily, yeah. Most of the bad guys in Star Trek are admirals. The admiral rankings is going to be
Or
a
other
fun
captains.
show. Or other captains, yeah. Okay. Is it back to me or is it you?
It's not my. I brought. Oh no. Is it? Yeah. I guess it's back to me. So I'm
Yes,
going.
yes.
How about the original Klingon Core
Ooh.
from Errand of Mercy?
Blood Oath when he's not a bad guy anymore, so we'll forget about that. It's mostly just Errand of Mercy.
Right. So yeah, because in Deep Space Nine he's not a villain at all. So, but we're talking more about his original series performance. As played by the great Canadian John Colicos.
John Colicos, yeah, man. The voice of
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Probably the best Klingon in TOS.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. He's like, I think there's a reason that he's the Klingon that continues through Deep Space Nine, where they kill the other two off in that first episode. Although I do like Kang a lot.
Yeah.
Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like,
But as a villain, like
as a villain, well, by the end of the episode, those it wasn't is it the Metrons who say or
Organians.
Oh, the
Or-
Organians. The Organians. The Organians say, "Oh, the Klingons and the Federation could be friends in the future. You watch," and that's kind of what happens. So he's like, and he goes, "Never," and Kirk goes, "Never."
like as a villain, he's almost kind of ineffectual. Like maybe not quite as bad as Sayla, but he doesn't do much more than she does.
No. So yeah, and ineffectual. Okay, so let's put him down in D. I would.
Any arguments there?
No.
No, I mean he does end up being good.
He's a better good guy.
He ends up being good.
Yeah, and I love him in Deep Space Nine. So
And he doesn't really do anything villain. He threatens to kill people. He threatens to do all this stuff, but he doesn't really do anything bad in the episode.
He's the Captain Kirk of the Klingons. Like he legitimately is the hero for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually find that with all the Klingons. Like I never really find that most of the Klingons through, even if they're supposed to be the villains, are really that villainous.
Except for
Klingon.
Yeah,
Can I-
They're just warriors.
Can I pick up the next guy here, Davan? Can I take your?
Yeah, go for it.
So
Yeah,
I would like to bring another Klingon in here, Commander Krug,
wanted to get
as played by
Krug in
Christopher
there.
Lloyd. He, I would say, is a Klingon who is pure villain. He killed Kirk's son. He ordered it at least. He had that big battle. I love how when Kirk's like, "Why would you? Can I have a request?" And he was like, "No, because you wish it." You know, he's more a villain,
Yeah.
I would say.
He is very villainous. Yeah.
But he's not up at Chang level. But but I would maybe put in BC somewhere there.
Yeah, I can see
He
him
was
at
my
B.
hero when he killed Kirk's son. So
It's true. He loses points because he did a good thing there.
Right.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
He got rid of David Marcus.
But if you think about his motivation, right? For all they know, the Federation has this massive weapon of planetary destruction that they're testing. He's been ordered to go get it. You know, like he's doing his job, and he's doing it in a Klingon way, which can be pretty violent. You know, but I think he's super mean about it. I'd totally see him as a B. I could support a C, but I see him at a B.
Ashley, C or B?
I would say B for performance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is so good.
Same with Malcolm McDowell. He's like the perfect equivalent. Like, they're
Exactly.
villains.
Yes.
It's
Like, I love,
but great.
but the performance is just
We got
Maybe
the
even like
new-
on the level of a Chang performance, is it? Like
Not quite.
I think though, like we got the new makeup in the motion picture, right? But it wasn't until Christopher Lloyd showed up and John Larroquette. We can't forget his contribution to
False.
Klingon culture. But like what they did and how they acted, that's how Klingons were from then forward.
Yeah.
They weren't like
Right.
the TOS
Right.
ones. Like Christopher Lloyd wrote the book.
A.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
I'm good.
tier.
You want to knock him up to A?
I do.
I'd
What do you-
support A. I love him.
It's kind of the proto Klingon.
Yeah, proto-Klingon. That was a convincing argument for me.
He was what made me love Klingons as a kid. So
Okay, well, I will sign off on it. All right, over to you, Davan. You get 2.
Okay, I get 2. Oh my. Well, let's go with the other plumber, shall we? Vatic.
All right, from Star Trek Picard, season 3.
Yeah. Now I just rewatched it in the last couple days, season 3 of Picard, and I still love it. It's amazing. She's good. She's really good in it, and she's like there's got to be points for almost a sympathetic villain as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like she was, the scenes where they're showing her torture in the lab and how she takes her torturer's face and all that. That's all super interesting stuff. For me, she's almost an A tier. Maybe it's just recency bias because I just watched it, but she was really good.
I wouldn't go up to A. I think she's deserving of B tier. I think that's for me where she belongs.
I'm A or B.
Yeah.
The performance was incredible. She was really good.
Yeah, I think her as a villain is like a B or a C. Like just like what she did as a villain wasn't big necessarily, and it was motivated by others. There's like, I don't know, I thought it was messy how they handled her, but the performance and the backstory I think really pushes that to a B for me. I mean,
yeah.
God, I mean it was so cool to see Amanda Plummer in Star Trek, but then what she did, I mean, she filled that screen in just the slimiest best way.
She was so strange. Like it's awesome when someone comes up with a very unique performance in anything. Like it's like that's a very strange delivery. It's like, but it kind of keeps you captivated.
I think she got like C level writing, and her performance bumped it up to a B.
A level or almost S level performance.
I got a clip here of her.
I thought you might care to know the name of my particular vessel. The Shrike. It's an earth creature, a small carrion bird, one that doesn't attack in anger or malice, one that isn't made frantic by hunger, but rather kills surgically, carefully.
Yeah, pretty good. Surgically, and then she gets, she breaks into a million pieces of ice at the end. Yeah. But so B tier, Vatic. Okay, back to you, Davan.
It works. Puxley's not joining us. PEI has crappy internet.
Figures.
So it's not going to happen. All right. It's back to me. Oh, I get 2. Okay. Well, let's just get it out of the way. Jody Simpson, Enterprise of 8.
Do I have a picture? I don't have a picture for him.
Oh, you didn't load up a Jody picture?
No, I didn't see him on there.
Well, I know you don't know Jody yet, Jeff, but trust me, he's an S tier villain.
Right.
I mean,
I trust you. No reason not to. S tier.
I just met you. Why wouldn't I trust you completely and implicitly?
Yeah. He doesn't even like Worf.
No, he hates Worf.
Yeah, that's basically why he's an enemy in my mind. You're a villain in my mind. He bashes Worf constantly.
For being fair to the Next Generation, he's completely worthless at his job, but he turns that around.
Okay, well, like we won't put Jody on this list since we don't have a picture. But while we're talking about bashing Worf, I think I've got a good villain here for us. Cargo container. Okay. from TNG Ethics.
The one that lands on Worf and breaks his spine?
For me, to break perhaps the greatest of Klingon warriors to the point where he wants to end his own life, that's an S-tier villain for me. I think this cargo container is dastardly. He knew what it was doing, I think.
Calculated.
Yeah.
Very calculated. Insidious in the way it worked its mind games into war.
It's a good thing Jody's not here, just for the.
I know. See, this kind of thing drives Jody crazy. When I just start doing bullshit like this, Jody loses his mind.
I was gonna say I might back Jody up because here's the other thing that cargo container did that like we as fans would see as villainous, but really worked out better. Is that was a big moment in Worf deciding like maybe this Enterprise thing isn't for me. Maybe I need to go to Deep Space Nine where I can actually do a job.
Yeah, get better writing.
I think cargo container has to be S tier because it did what every other Klingon couldn't do,
God, yeah.
It's true. It's stronger than every other Klingon and Jem'Hadar. How many Jem'Hadar couldn't take down Worf? But one cargo
That's
container
true.
could.
Everyone tried. Only cargo container could.
Yeah.
Do we have any arguments for S tier on this cargo
Well,
container?
I'm clearly outnumbered here. It's an inanimate object, so
I don't think that sentience was ever a requirement for
No, definitely
the
not.
rating.
Yeah.
So.
That is a joke. I get it. It is not funny,
Perfect.
but I get it.
All right,
right.
we've got our second S tier.
All right. Well, since
Beautiful.
we got Worf in there, I'm going to grab maybe a Voyager villain. How about Fear, the clown?
Oh, this is a good one.
S.
S. Like
so
what's
good.
It's fear. It's fear itself. What is a
Fear
bigger
itself.
enemy than fear itself? Martok said that there is no greater enemy than facing one's own fears.
From the episode The Thaw.
Yeah, the
Voyager's
thoughts. So good. So
Yeah.
good.
I would say like A tier, maybe. He's really good in that episode.
S
Really?
for me.
You say S?
Oh yeah.
S for me too.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite Voyager episodes.
It's fear itself, like in a weird clown
Yeah.
form, played by Michael McKean. Like what else
And
do you
so
want?
well. Played so
Yes,
well.
so well. Like that would have
Yeah,
been a
it's
bad
such a good
episode and
episode.
a bad role if a lesser actor
How-
had played that character.
How did they beat him? I forget how they defeated him.
With the Janeway hologram.
Oh yeah.
Well, Janeway turned fear on fear itself. So she's
Mm-hmm.
just like, what does fear fear? Basically being alone. It has nothing to scare anymore. So she's just like, now you have nothing. How do you like that? It's just like, I'm afraid. And she just goes, I know. That was one of the best lines in the history of Star Trek.
But it's not actually her. It's her. It's a hologram program to talk like her. But
I know, but it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
No, it's great. Like I think S tier is a little high for me, but
Yeah.
it's not.
I'm there
I do
too,
love
but-
it.
I'm there too, but I also can't think of a valid argument against it. You know, I mean, like,
You can't hold him up against Gul Dukat.
well, I mean, that'd be the thing, right? Longevity,
Well-
impact and longevity of the villainy.
Yeah.
And this literally was, and unfortunately, the cargo container falls in this too. Of like, well, next week everything was fine.
Right.
If we bring in longevity to these ratings, though, there's only going to be about 4 characters from Deep Space Nine and maybe like...
Yeah, you're right. Like most of these characters are only in one movie or one episode. So
Yeah, there's like Dukat, Kai Wynn, Wayun, and then a bunch of one-off villains.
there's like the Duras sisters. There's a few. There's a few
There's a
recurring
few.
villains, but not too many.
But not to the significance. Like if we're going to hold that up as the S... Well, we already put cargo container up there, so we
Yeah, and
didn't
it
hold any
deserves to be
longevity. It does. But
you say the
I'm
Clown is
happy
better
with
than Christopher
A2,
Plummer,
but
you know.
yes, I do actually. So that's an S for me.
He's really
As
good.
far as it's just, they were fun. Like Chang's fun. Krug is very villainous and also fun. But like, as far as like fear and threat, and it's very memorable. Like in one
kills
episode,
one guy,
that's a very memorable.
but yeah.
Well, yeah, but like, does Chang kill anybody? Does Chang do anything?
Chang, yeah, he attacks the Enterprise and he kills people with his photon torpedoes. Plus, he tried to.
Did anyone die from those photon torpedoes?
They look like they were dying. Yeah,
Well, he
I'd say.
basically killed Gorkon because he's the one who blasted the.
Yeah, he was like the master
Okay.
conspiracy master. So
I could go either way, S or A.
I'll leave him up in S for now, but it seems like a variety. But let's come back to him. All right, who's next?
Okay.
Maybe you,
You picked that one, didn't you? All right. So I'm going to pick, just because he annoys me, and we were just talking about J.G. Hertzler. Laws.
the Changeling from season 7, Deep Space Nine. Lost the Changeling.
Like, he's like pure indifferent villainy.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care about anything, anyone, even like maybe himself a little bit, but he just doesn't care about anything. Like, he's like pure apathy almost. If apathy can be a villain, that's Laws. And a bit of racism. A fair
bit.
dabbing of racism, yeah. But
Yeah, a concerning, an uncomfortable, a bit of racism in there. But
Yeah.
I don't think he was very. I mean, I don't think he was like. He was an inconvenience.
he stabbed a Klingon.
Yeah.
He did stab a Klingon. I don't
But who
like
doesn't
him.
stab Klingons? Klingons stab Klingons all the friggin' time. Like they
The
love
Klingon didn't die.
it.
So his villainy is kind of weak to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the most, it's D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not that like I love J.G. Hertzler as Martok and some other roles, but this one is probably my least favorite performance of his.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows his range, and this end of the range is not good for him.
I didn't know it was him for the longest time, and he even changes his name for the credits. Like he goes by Garmin Hertzler instead of J.G. Hertzler.
I knew just by hearing that voice. Like, we have the same birthday, me and Hertzler. But yeah. So okay, D tier. All right. So
JG thinks I'm funny. We'll have him on the show eventually. All right.
You are funny. Is my pick?
Yes, it is.
All right. Let's go. Lore.
Here's look at Murphy here. The container may be a threat to Klingons, but to every other species, it is only a heavy object to be placed on a shelf. If a cargo container can take out a Klingon
Seriously.
with double the organs of a human, it would have squashed a human.
We just talked about Law stabbing a Klingon and nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He T-1000 that Klingon and nothing happened.
Nothing.
So, denied, Murphy. Denied. All right.
Lore.
Lore's a tough one for me.
He doesn't accomplish anything.
Exactly.
Really.
He sure tries. Dude sure tries.
Right.
well,
He's like,
well,
okay,
but
that didn't
lines.
work. Let's try Borg Army. Damn, it still didn't work. Like, but, I mean, inevitably all of these villains get defeated.
Yeah, but he does time and time and time.
True.
And even his last appearance date is like, you're an idiot. So
In
here,
the
I'm
episode
gonna be-
Brothers, he does.
I loved that scene, and it was the ultimate, like, Lore, you suck. It's just like, Lore, like, oh, yeah.
But in the episode Brothers,
See?
when he gets the drop on Soong by pretending he's Data and gets the emotion chip and then goes off, that's the only episode where he actually gets away with it. So
Yeah, he does get away with it there, doesn't he?
yeah, gets defeated later.
He's good
but,
at manipulating data.
Yeah.
That's one
Data.
thing he's successful at.
and Soong, because when Soong tells him he's dying,
And Soong.
I still go back and forth if he actually cares or not, or if he's just.
I think he
pretending to
does. That seems because the one thing about Lore is he's not good at masking his emotions.
True.
Would you guys be good with putting him in B? I think he's a B tier.
I think he's B tier.
I think. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Even just on the personality of Spiner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always entertaining when he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it really is. And I love that the way they ended it with him and Picard. Picard season 3 is a friggin' work of genius. It has a couple holes, but not many. Okay, here's a big one for me. I'm coming right out with an S tier. Gul Madred, Chain of Command.
Gul Madred.
Is
There are four
there a
lights.
Is there a better showdown between antagonist and protagonist?
I got to tell you why. Here's my argument for S tier for him.
Okay.
David Warner, right, who plays him, got notice like 3 days. Like he got last minute notice to come in here. They had to hold up cue
What?
cards for the lines. They had someone else cast.
Wow.
He got sick or something happened. He happened to be on set, and they're like, "Bro, you want to put some makeup on?" I said, "Yeah, I want to put some makeup on." He had no time to learn the lines. They were holding him up on
my
cue
God.
cards, and off of that, he was able to be one of the ultimate foils to Picard.
I can't believe that performance was just like reading off cue cards.
Like
Wow, I
David
never knew-
Warner,
And
is
who
an
was the actor that got sick? Who could have played that role better than David Warner?
I know.
And he was just there? He just happened to be there?
He's just like, yo,
Something like
David Warner, you're over on lot 6. Like, do you want to get up at 4 a.m. to put some makeup on? Or?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's an S tier villain.
He's so good. Like, he's real.
I agree.
He feels real.
And he's
Like,
racist.
He tells the story.
just-
Very.
I don't think we would have gotten Ducat like we got Ducat without Madrid.
Yeah. Just so many heavy things he says. This is like human parents don't love their children as we do. Like the dehumanizing things he says is just like that's all really very real wartime strategy stuff, and That's a heavy episode.
He's not the very first Cardassian on screen, but he's one of the first.
The first is Mustache Dukat,
which is like
Moset,
which is Ducat's
Moset.
Yeah.
Ducat's cousin.
Maybe.
I think in like some
they should have gave Moset should have made an appearance on Deep Space Nine. That would have been hilarious.
as Ducat's
It
cousin.
would've-
Yeah. Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh well.
He
Back to
comes
you,
in
Dee.
and pretends he's Ducat, like Thomas Riker.
Yeah, that would have been a hilarious episode. Oh my
All right.
god.
How about Q?
Okay, so we're talking Q as
a
early
villain.
TNG when he's definitely a villain. Like by Voyager time,
Yeah.
in Voyager he's not a villain. If anything, he helps them. But in early TNG, I would say that's a fair characterization.
But he's so powerful, right? So it's always like you have to like. How do you really?
But he's so
defeat him?
powerful. If he wanted to be a villain, he would.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't think he was pure villain. He was like a puppet master that just wanted to play with his toys. Like, I don't think he ever wanted to destroy any of them. He just wanted to sprinkle something in and see how they reacted. He just wanted to have a little fun. He wanted to,
Well, is he a villain in season 3 of Picard though, or season 2?
He's made out to be, but he's not. I don't think.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think so. I think he's just coping with the end for him.
He's a manipulative and poor boyfriend trying to get a last moment with the love of his life in the worst way possible. But
Yeah.
I don't think that makes him a villain. It just made him clumsy at the end of his life.
like he's not like a murderer like some of these, but he's like a torturer and tormentor. He likes to torment people. Like where do we put like a serial tormentor?
Well, and I would even say this, like, is a villain someone who comes and does not great things to you for the purpose of making you better? Is that a villain?
Could be.
Because you think about Q Who, right? Like, and they're like, he didn't let the Borg get them. And there's been some really great arguments made that had he not done that in Q Who, that the Federation wouldn't have been ready when Wolf 359 happened. Not that they were ready, but they were more ready. And so in a way, he was almost helping the Federation like prepare for their future.
Like he
I
knew
don't think I'm questioning whether he should even be on this list now.
He knew the Borg was coming, so we wanted to give them a little preview. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think F tier goes to like just really boring bad villains. So I think like D tier.
Fair enough. He's better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Seela. He's like you want to.
Seela.
Like, it's cool when Seela's there, but it's just like she's not doing anything too villainous.
I'm even ranking.
Can't give him F for forgettable. He's not.
No, he's not forgettable. That's for damn sure.
Okay. Q is a D tier villain. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Although I did like that. It's about as Q tier as you can get. Like,
But
it's his own,
but
he's his
an
own.
S tier character.
Yes, S tier character. Yeah, but
S tier character.
As a villain, he's not the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to one I feel like is gonna. No, let's go for this one. Nero.
Okay. Where are you, Nero?
For me, he's probably like the best of the JJ Trek villains, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Where did it drop?
He's like a Seela.
There he is.
Well, I feel like his motivation makes sense, right? I get his motivation.
Yeah.
I think it's
like
a great performance.
What, revenge for his family or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, his
just a
wife
revenge
or something.
villain guy.
He's a revenge villain. I could maybe put him in the C tier, possibly even the B tier.
Really? No, because the performance doesn't match like a Malcolm McDowell or a Brent.
It's pretty good. Like when he comes
Amanda
when he comes
Plummer.
on the screen and he's like, "I'm Christopher Pike." He's like, "Hey, Christopher, I'm Nero." I like
that was a funny line. Yeah.
I like some of his performance a lot.
Yeah.
Eric Bana plays him. I think that movie is pretty good, and I think he's a pretty good villain in it. But I think he's not as good as maybe some
Vadic.
other ones.
Not
I
as
wouldn't
good
put him
as
up there
Vadic.
with Soren and Vadic, but I think he's a Gary Mitchell level villain.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Okay. I like him probably
Yes.
better than Gary Mitchell, although I don't think he's quite as nefarious as Alexis. But that's fine.
That's okay. Even within a tier, you have some
Yeah.
range.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
Just like we have the cargo container up here with Ducat, right? So
Well, that's legit.
It's my pick now. Okay, so how about Apollo from the episode "Who Mourns for Adonais"?
Dude, he is like he's pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
But he's kind of like Elixis. Is he not like almost an exact analog to Elixis? He's just a guy using manipulations to control a smallish
he just wants to be
population of
worshipped.
people.
He just wants people to love him, and he wants that
As
girl
does
to-
she. Like Elixis sort of did too.
Yeah, she's so I feel like she's maybe like in the same group with him.
Yeah, I think that's
They're
like
almost
the perfect
analogs of
kind
each other.
analog.
She was like with
Yeah.
no technology, and he's like, but I got super technology.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
very
like-
handsome. You're a very attractive young lady. Would you like to be my queen for a day? Like
Shatner didn't
that's
like him
about-
because he was taller than Shatner. So when they were
he had that issue a lot.
Shatner.
They just needed to get him some proper lifts.
yeah.
But okay, I'm fine with that one. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Peanut Hamper.
Peanut Hamper. Oh, hold on. I need my Peanut Hamper quote.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, where's my favorite Peanut Hamper quote is this one. Peanut. Why aren't you there? Oh, you're down there in the lower deck. Sorry. I hate this when I can't find a clip, and then everyone's like, "What?"
Keep it in your pants, sister. I'm not trying to steal your bird, man.
That's right.
Old
Not-
Raw Dog. Over
Yeah.
there.
Peanut Hamper is a pretty good villain. Even when
Yeah, man.
she tries to
A.
reform herself.
A tier.
A tier.
Yep. She's just delightful, like Chang.
I joined Starfleet to piss off my dad, not to be a virus bomb.
Yeah.
Like A's the category for like super charming performances for like people that are kind of villainous, but not like super all in on the villainy.
I'm
Just kind
stranded
of
with a
out
bunch
for
of hillbilly
themselves.
birds on a planet that's never even been first contacted.
Yeah.
I hated that bird
Arguments?
episode.
You know, I'm
Really?
I'm having a hard time saying it, but Ash, I agree. Like I kind of hate Peanut Hamper.
Yeah, yeah. I hated the stupid talking owls. I found Peanut Hamper annoying.
Yeah.
My husband's getting
Kevin
really
liked
mad
it.
at me. Oh, I know he's getting really mad at me right now.
He's yelling there from this side.
I wouldn't put her in A tier personally. I think she's
All right,
probably
that's maybe a bit much.
a B at the best. And I would even maybe go down, but she's apparently going to team up with Agamus next season. So
Yeah.
we'll see what that will.
Well, I
will
feel
turn
like
into.
she's in a lot of ways she's like the narcissistic epitome of chaotic evil. You know, just like whatever, man, and that's pretty B tier. And the voice acting's incredible.
That's kind of almost what lore is.
Yeah. Right. Kind of.
B seems to make sense for her, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Dave.
Back to me. How about Haggith, the arms dealer from the Deep Space Nine episode?
I like Haggith.
What's the
as a
episode called?
villain. That one? Ooh. I can't remember.
Business as usual.
Oh, business as usual.
Haggith, you know, I thought he was a pretty good. He was the arms dealer. We only see him the one time. He's teamed up with cousin
He's
Gala.
so strange. It's another one of those strange performances.
He does order that death of that one guy, right? So he kills at least one person.
But he's like thought of as a hero by the Bajorans.
He sold weapons to the Bajorans when nobody else would, and that was an investment because he knew that they would win eventually. The Cardassians were too confident, so he had some.
But he also like forces his sub criminals to like kind of be by the books. Like they have to pay off their debts before they make any money.
Yeah.
And they kind of have to keep their noses clean. So as far as criminals go, he's strange in that way, where he doesn't want too much criminal behavior happening around. I mean, that just keeps it clean. He's like a mob guy.
Yeah, he's like a mob. He's like a
excess
gangster.
Criminality. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a gangster type. I don't know how to really rank him up with these guys, but that we've done so far. But he doesn't seem like he's at the top of the list.
No,
he feels like he's in the middle somewhere, probably in the lower middle.
I'm okay with C. I wouldn't put him lower than that because I think he's kind of interesting.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Different. Yeah.
Okay, who's next, Davan?
See? Okay. Varad Dax. Which
Varad
I don't even think we
Dax.
should call him Dax because he was only a Dax for a few minutes, really.
Yeah.
A few hours.
And they never mentioned him after that. It's like, so I don't think any of his memories lingered.
Yeah, well, Varad or Varad Dax, but he steals the symbiote for a while, and then they get the drop on him. John Glover plays him, and I find him again an interesting villain.
Very personal, like one of those very deeply personal villains. Like,
Right.
who else did we have like that?
Yeah, and when Jadzia gets the symbiote back at the end of the episode, and she was like, she tells us what his memories were. She's like, oh, he's so sad, he's so pathetic.
He's
But,
like
yeah.
a Soren with less collateral damage.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the less collateral damage drops him a tier below Soren, but
I think
he's
that
a very similar character.
and I think less collateral damage, super personal. He wasn't out to kill everybody. He was out to steal a thing. You know, like
He didn't really want to kill anybody. Like,
Exactly.
he was not
Didn't
that
want-
kind of guy.
But he hired Tim Russ as a Klingon to be his like
He
enforcer.
did.
So
Getting more work for Tim Russ is probably going to bump him up into a B tier, but
I'd probably leave him in C for now. But you know, he's
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. After Varad, how about we go to a Voyager villain in Seska?
ooh,
Oh, I like Seska. You guys are probably going to disagree with me here, but for me, Seska's at least an A.
Seska, like she did impregnate herself, or she tried to impregnate herself with Chakotay's baby. Didn't work, but it
the
was
long game too. She was like, how long was she like dating Chakotay, and she was
A while.
Cardassian
Yeah,
the
she was-
entire time.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
she was a crazy villain against the Maquis, and then she's just like, oh well, crap, I can't be a villain against the Maquis now. I guess I'll be a villain against Voyager.
Right.
Like,
and the fact that
she's
they
just
brought her
villainous
back.
through and through. She's just the worst.
They brought her back a few times, like as holograms and as other versions of herself, like when the show went on. So I'm with you. I go up as high to A. You know, I think she's an A tier.
A. She's
I think
great.
she's
Yeah.
pivotal to the Voyager story. And
Yes.
yeah, like yeah,
If
she-
not the
and
best villain of that show, maybe.
maybe I got the scene where she's sitting next to the Maj, and she's just like, he's like, and then we'll do this, yes, Maj, and then we'll do this, yes, Maj. It's like,
Or
oh,
sometimes she's just disgusted, and it's just yes, Maj.
right, exactly. But it's like she's willing to do what she's got to do, no matter how. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great performance.
Great. Okay, I'm with you. Seska A.
Awesome.
Look at all these Cardassians rising to the top.
Cardassians
Cardassians
are
are
great.
good villains.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're one of my
Sure.
favorite villains.
Okay.
Okay.
Davan?
Here's ooh. Okay, let's go with Administrator Vlas from Enterprise.
Okay. Administrator Vlas from the Enterprise 3-parter in season 4.
Like as hateful and rage-filled and hate-filled Vulcan as you will ever find.
yeah, he was. We haven't quite got to that in our Star Trek Enterprise rewatch yet. We haven't, so I don't have. I don't feel strongly about him one way or the other. I have seen the episodes with him, but it's been a while. So
Well, he's very, very much against the people who like are all about sharing Katras and mind melds and stuff. He's like this like hardcore, rigid, almost like what would be like a Vulcan conservative.
yeah, he's like a Vulcan
Very-
conservative. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hardcore. Yeah.
yeah.
But you're gonna touch each other? God, no. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't like mind
No.
melds. Doesn't
With your
doesn't
mind's
like,
gross.
right, but like the reason that the Vulcans are different by the time of the original series compared to the time of Enterprise is partly because there is sort of like this reformation within Vulcan society and overthrowing guys like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where that places him. I don't think he's B. I think he's
No.
maybe a C or like I don't know, like
I'd say C. C's a good spot for him.
Administrator Vlas.
Pretty
Yeah.
formidable villain.
Because I think also like he's kind of arch. You know what I mean? It's not like he's justified or whatever. It's just like, I'm evil, and you're doing bad, gross things. So I'll start a war. I mean, that obviously doesn't sound like that, but it's basically what he does.
Pretty good impression.
I think it's pretty close.
I've got an interesting one here next, I think. How about
Okay.
Damon Bach from Star Trek The Next Generation? He's the one who he's in
good
2
villain.
episodes, actually.
Like tricking the whole sun thing with Jason Vigo. That's some like
That's some
crazy-
villainry right there.
that is
You know?
some.
And he
crazy
finds the
villain.
old Stargazer, right? Doesn't he, like in the first appearance, doesn't he find the old Stargazer and try to get like Picard to like fly it off a cliff or something? And
A scheme master, like a master
a schemer.
scheme.
He's a schemer.
A master schemer. I would
Yeah.
almost go A tier for him, but I may get
Is he a-
some pushback there.
Maybe he's definitely a B or an A level, like
Yeah.
because he is of a villain and he's going for the revenge of his son. His son was killed by Picard when Picard commanded the Stargazer, and so and then his first appearance is the battle, and then they brought him back in Bloodlines, which is like at least a couple seasons later. So I think he's a pretty interesting one. Is he A tier? Is he up to the Seska level? Maybe not. But he's pretty good for
B's good for Bach.
Yeah, we'll leave him
B
there.
for Bach. B is for Bach, right? Yeah.
I think he's more of a villain than Peanut. All right. Who do we got next?
I see. You're doing this little slide ranking in each. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
That's like the most Dave thing ever.
That's right.
What do you mean you're not going in order?
He's got to rank it within the ranking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Okay. All right. Let's go with. Well, here's one I think's an interesting villain. John Frederick Paxton.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Weller.
Yep.
From Enterprise. Also from
like
Enterprise.
a super xenophobe.
Yeah, he's like the leader of the human supremacist movement on Earth post the Xindi crisis, right?
Yeah. He was the big baddie for the actual series finale of Enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah. Not that.
Which would have been a great series finale.
Yeah, the other finale was actually just an addendum to a Next Generation episode.
Yeah, it's and a bad one at that.
Yeah.
So,
I like Paxton, at least a B.
C.
No. He's
I was
so
almost
going
gonna
to
say A.
All of those. Yeah.
I think if he had got more time, like this story got more time. I mean, God, didn't they have like Trip and T'Pol's kid, and they were going to do all kinds of stuff?
They sure did.
Ashley hasn't got to that part of Enterprise in her
I
rewatch,
haven't.
so she
Oh.
probably
Oh
doesn't.
no, it's
well.
okay. There's been enough years. I'm not worried about spoilers. I actually know quite a bit just from I'll read about it, but now I'm actually watching it.
I'll go in A just to cancel out your C.
All right, B.
Okay.
There we go.
Good villain. Good performance by Peter
Yeah.
Weller. I mean, come on.
Hey, Peter Weller. He also played a villain in Star Trek Into Darkness, your favorite movie.
Yeah, and that sucked in comparison. If you want to compare Peter Weller's Star Trek villain roles.
Yeah, and he can't be on the list because he's an admiral, so he didn't get to be here.
Oh,
Yeah,
was he?
His character in Into Darkness, which is Carol Marcus's
yeah.
father.
Oh, right. Admiral Mark. Oh,
He's Admiral Marcus, so he couldn't be here.
why does in new movies everyone have to be related?
Right.
Like,
Makes it more interesting, I think they think.
does it?
Okay. Well, I don't know. Talking about people who are related, like in Star Trek,
Here we go. What a
Star Trek:
segue.
Strange New Worlds, Davin.
We
Khan
came up with a Strange New Worlds villain?
No.
Torquanto?
Torquanto, yes. So remember his great granddaughter has a crush on Kirk in Strange New Worlds. Khan Noonien.
Remember, he's now 40 years younger than that picture would have you believe.
Right.
Yes. No, they changed the time. I don't know. Kevin would argue with you. Okay, but it's about timelines or something. Anyway, Khan. Where do we want to put Khan? Not just for Spacey, but also, of course, for Wrath of Khan.
I'm going to go on record for saying I think he's overrated.
You think he's
As a Star Trek
overrated?
villain. Yeah. Like at best, he's just a charming Chang type character, but I don't think he's as good as Chang. I would put Khan at a B at the highest. Wow.
I think you have to put him at.
He doesn't accomplish anything. What does he do?
He steals the Reliant. He kills a lot of he leaves that crew on the planet. He puts the Regulan bloodworms in the ears of Chekhov and the captain guy.
Tyrrell, yeah.
Basically destroys the Genesis project.
Yeah.
In Space Seed, he doesn't really do a lot other than take over the Enterprise briefly.
But what about Torquanto?
What about it?
Doesn't that change everything and make his character worse?
Maybe. We don't know.
We don't know yet. He's from Toronto now.
He's from Toronto now.
No, he's not from Toronto. He's just
Yes, he
living
is.
in
He's
Toronto.
a
He's drawing
This
pictures
kid
of the
from
CN
Toronto.
Tower on his.
Because he's living there. It doesn't necessarily mean he's like from there.
Doesn't mean he's not.
It's just like he's this kid living in Toronto who somehow takes over the Eastern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why
how
did
it's
they
all
make
gonna go
Canadians villains in this show?
Because we're badass.
Right. Because, I mean, that's the real story of Canada. It's untold.
Yeah,
That's-
we're just all villains.
Yes, and the Americans have no idea. So,
down.
I'd
Put
say
extra
Khan.
alcohol in our beer.
I think Khan, just for Wrath of Khan alone, is S tier. You know,
No,
Oh,
I think
come
I'm
on.
gonna agree
Come
with
on.
Davan. Overrated.
Wow.
Yep.
Not S tier.
Overrated movie, overrated villain.
I think
Yeah,
Jeff
it's
and I are higher on Khan. So
Yeah, because I feel like with
Yeah, but Jeff and you are like the Beatles as well, and they're the most overrated band in history. You guys love overrated.
No, I mean,
So-
not my brother Jeff. I mean Jeff.
Oh.
yeah.
New Jeff.
And
My bad.
also the Beatles are great, but they are overrated. But without
Yes.
that overrated band, we wouldn't have had all these other bands. Which is like with Khan, sure, I won't argue him being overrated or not. What I'll say is that without him, we wouldn't have Data, right? We wouldn't have the augments.
Where's
in
the line
Enterprise.
between Khan and Data?
Sung? It's all related. It was in Picard season 2 in one tiny little scene that lasted half a second. That they're
Yeah.
all connected.
Well, and also we see, that he abandoned the genetic engineering, like the other Soong, which we will rate.
Oh,
He's in this
yeah.
list, but he abandoned genetic
He is.
engineering after Enterprise, and his family went into cybernetics, I guess. And then we get lore because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So it's
uh,
all
there's-
connected. He is the early piece, and I think at the time,
All right, that's
especially,
fair.
like to ramp Kirk to that level, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Khan!
All right, I could go A.
I can go A. I think we have to come
I'm
on.
okay with A.
I can live with A.
Okay.
Captain Terrell can't.
I mean, I guess he's sort of like Kirk's Madrid in a way, but like the Madrid thing, it was just kind of like it's more personal and
the Madrid thing was
gritty.
impersonal. He was just doing his job. That's what makes him
I
so
guess, yeah.
evil. Like, he's just he's reveling in it.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get one of these off the list. Borg Queen number 1.
The original one?
Yeah, Alice Krieg.
Alice Krieg. Okay.
So who we get clarification on this now. So what the Picard series did do was clarify the difference between TNG First Contact and Voyager Borg Queen. So what confuses it is they had Krieg come back in and play the Delta Quadrant Borg Queen for the finale, but that is not the Alice Krieg Borg Queen from the First Contact, because as she says in Picard, she was left drifting in space from the events of First Contact and just eventually found by Jack Crusher.
So there's this idea that there's not just one Borg Queen, there's multiple Borg Queens, kind
There's
of like
3.
There's at least 3, but maybe more.
Yeah, there's definitely more. They're like ant queens.
Right?
Like
Or
there's-
B
there's a
Queens.
lot of
Okay.
it.
Or B Queens, yeah.
They're bee
Okay,
queens.
so we're talking about the Alice Krieg one from First Contact, right?
Her motivations are weird. Like, why does she want to give Data like skin orgasms and stuff?
And have sex with him.
What's going on there?
Sexy.
Yeah.
Like, it is sexy.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know where to put her.
She's
open
pretty
to
good in that
suggestions.
movie. I'd say she's memorable. A or B.
Yeah,
I go
I'm
with
feeling.
A.
I would go with
Yeah.
B. I
B.
personally, I'm of the camp
B.
that the Borg Queen character neutered the Borg.
The Borg.
Yes,
well,
because they're not a collective anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're a-
now they're just
they're a
this-
monarchy.
they're a monarchy, and it's less appealing because the Borg, as original concept, was more interesting from a science fiction point of view. I think
Yep,
that they were
I
just this
agree.
collective, a hive mind, couldn't be reasoned with, and
Yeah.
then the
Yeah, I
Queen
could
kind
almost
of.
drop her down to an F because of that. That is annoying.
So I'm okay with B tier, but she's super good in that movie. So
she is.
like,
She
um,
is.
Yeah, but okay. While we're on her, let's just talk about all the Borg queens. So let's talk about the Delta Quadrant Queen, as played by Susanna Thompson, mostly, except for Alice Krieg, who came into play her at the end in Endgame. So,
what an odd decision to make too.
Yeah,
like Susanna Thompson played a very good Borg Queen. Like there was no reason for it.
I don't know. I feel like we have a little more money. Let's bring her back in. But she was this is the queen that we saw in Dark Frontier, Unimatrix Zero, Unimatrix, Part 2. And
I like her better than Krieg.
Wow.
I like her motivations better. Maybe not the actress per se, but I like her motivations better. She doesn't ruin the Borg concept as much for me.
That scene where she's like talking to the kid in the Unimatrix, that was kind of interesting.
That was.
And she talked about when her parents were assimilated and blah 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 and whatever. So she had a little bit more of a different connection. I think she's good, but I don't know how to rank her. If I can rank her higher, than Krieg.
I guess at least as high though. At least a B.
Yeah,
and then we have Annie Wershing, who is the third Borg Queen, who we saw in
her
Picard.
a lot too. God, she had such personality with her Borg Queen.
I might put her higher.
Wow.
But I don't have to. I think but she was maybe my favorite part of season 2 of Picard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
So maybe B-A, but
I'm tempted to put her up.
I'm down. I mean, when I was watching it, I remember I think I declared she was now my favorite Borg Queen just based on her performance.
Yeah, she was good, and then she takes over. But then she takes over Girardi, and then we didn't put Girardi on the list, but
Girardi was like a friendly Borg Queen.
Yeah, she's not an evil Borg.
No,
right?
That we know of, but she's not. But we'll never find out. But maybe
Borg
it's
Collective.
Different. It's a different thing. So
yeah, exactly.
No, the Borg Cooperative.
The cooperative.
The cooperative. Yeah. We'll catch up with you later. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cash only store down the street.
It's like we're not assimilated. We're just cooperating on very deep levels.
All right,
we
Davan.
vote. We vote.
We don't use technology. We use ayahuasca. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pick one here, and after this one, I gotta go let in another cat. It's a rotating door of cats today. There's like a party on the street. It's upsetting my cats. Okay, let's go with how are we gonna judge this? Like historically or on Star Trek? Red Jack, aka Jack the Ripper.
Red Jack, yeah. This is the guy from the episode Wolf in the Fold who frames Scotty for murder. But then we find out it's Jack the Ripper. He's like, Red Jack, Red Jack, Red Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad villain, but maybe a bad villain though. I don't know.
I and as someone who also has a Babylon 5 podcast, I feel very justified in saying this. I hate when people bring Jack the Ripper into sci-fi. It never works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? It's one of those interesting crime mysteries that it's out there, but it's also just like, really? I don't know. I wasn't keen on it.
I love this story.
It's the way I agree with you, and it's the way I feel when like Star Trek mentions like deeply, like trivial American things. Like for Spock to say only Nixon goes to China, that bothers me because I don't think Spock should know who Richard Nixon is or know that phrase. So it's sort of like the same thing for me. I guess, but it's pretty removed from Nixon. I don't think
I'd hope
he's
that
still
far in the
pissed about
future.
Watergate. Like
It's old Vulcan proverb.
Yeah, I would hope that far in the future we're not talking about Nixon anymore. And
Yeah,
Sam, it's called
so
Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast.
I have to come on that podcast.
you gotta have Dave on that pod, or else he's gonna start one in our.
Dave, you'll just have to remember not to spoil.
Yeah,
right.
That is,
Oh,
we are
you can't do it.
hardcore on the nose, and our community is so great in protecting us from spoilers. It's a hard thing to do.
That's amazing because your listeners have definitely know more about what's going on than you do.
They
It's a
hate us
hilarious
for it
concept.
sometimes. Like my hating Jack the Ripper, they're like, "You don't understand. It's so great." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't understand, and I get to not understand."
F.
No.
Red
I
Jack?
agree with him. I'm bringing it up. I agree with him in C. I loved that episode. I thought I actually really liked that storyline.
I'm
thought it
good
was
with
great.
C. I think he's more effectual. He does kill people, so he's an effectual
Yeah.
villain.
And he kills people on all sorts of planets all through history.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, he's a galactic.
Okay,
and in,
if
like,
he's historical,
and in like,
Jack the Ripper.
and in
yeah.
nasty ways too. Like if he's Jack the Ripper, the stuff he did
Yeah,
to
if
those
he's
women in
but
London,
if he's Jack
like,
the Ripper,
yikes.
Do we get clarification on that in the episode?
Yes,
is
he is.
definitely
Mhm.
Jack the
Yes,
Ripper?
he is. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, then like at least a C.
But he's just like he's just a
He
space
menaced the streets of England.
ghost. He's not even a corporeal entity. He just possesses people, right? And then kills
Yeah.
them.
Okay,
So I'm good with C.
C.
All right, Red Jack. Okay.
I gotta go free a cat. Be right back.
Okay, you free a cat. I'll grab a villain. How about Gowron? Gowron, but only as a Deep Space Nine villain, mostly.
I mean,
'Cause
we can't put him S tier because he couldn't defeat Worf. So I'd put Gowron A. I love Gowron.
Prepare for a fight to the death.
Jeff, do you have an opinion on Gowron?
I agree with Ashley. Like everything. I mean, sometimes he is so over the top, but that almost makes him that much better.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
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 He's the one who he was like, they hired him, and then like he starts working, and then he's like, so you mean like space opera? You need like opera stuff? And they're like, yeah, kinda. And he's like, all I heard was, yeah, let's go.
Glory awaits you on Cardassia.
So good.
I love him. Yeah.
Surrender while you can. This is a dark day.
I love Gowron. Gowron, maybe even S tier, but he's not. He's a good guy for most of the beginning, and then he kind of goes back good, and then villain at the end, and then Worf kills him. So, I miss him sometimes. Gowron. So, yeah, I liked playing Star Trek Online just because they had like a character they created that was voiced by Robert O'Reilly.
Mhm.
It was called Akar, and he was just like, I guess he's like an ancestor of Gowron or something. And it was like, at least we got him back. So that's good. All right. So Gowron, A tier villain, we're saying. How about Moriarty, the holodeck villain from the Next Generation episodes? Elementary, Dear Data, and what was the other one? But
Ship
in a Bottle.
Yeah.
I think he needs to rank higher than Lore because he was a bigger villain for Data than Lore. Like he was able to get stuff over on
Moriarty?
Data better
Yeah.
than Lore.
Did I miss Gowron and Moriarty?
Yes.
Moriarty.
We just did
Okay,
Gowron. We
Gowron's-
said is A tier.
Yeah, I agree with both of your selections there.
But Moriarty went and settled on where he should go. We said Ashley said higher than Lore.
But again, Moriarty doesn't really do anything but like menace a little bit. Is he higher than Lore?
I don't know.
I don't think he is. I think he's like a pretty good, maybe even a little lower, but like a good analog to like Vatic or something.
He's got the
Or good
charisma, but he's not very
performance.
effectual, like so, as a villain. So I'd almost put him in C.
I think he's very effective,
Yeah.
but his villainy isn't to do bad things. His villainy is to outsmart Data.
Yeah,
And, because I think that's the
what
thing.
he's created for.
And to attain his like free will.
And then
agency.
become have his own agency. And that's the thing. Like he is without question a villain. Like he's the guy they go in and beat. But I also say that like he's just doing what he was programmed to do, and then he's doing what any new life form would do, and trying to like grab his sentience. I would even say not a villain.
Yeah, he's like down with Q
Yeah.
there, like barely a villain. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I think he's charismatic. I think that charisma maybe carries him to C, but that's kind of how he's programmed to talk anyway. So yeah.
I think we're gonna have to make this a two-parter though. We're not getting through this 105 as quick as I thought we would.
No, we have a lot more to go.
Yeah, so let's make this a two-parter. We'll cut it off at some point here and meet back at another date. Does that sound perfect? Or what?
Well, maybe we should stick to some of the big ones then. Let's stick to the big guys from here.
Well, we got to sprinkle those in. We want some big guys for the next one.
Yeah. We'll have to meet back and do this.
And then we can say
in a two-parter.
previously on Locutors of Trek.
All right,
Oh
so
my God,
Davan,
we're
We
gonna
got-
have you do it with that golden voice. I'll tell you that much.
We're gonna have to leave it on a serious cliffhanger though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got a few to go. Let's knock a few more off. Okay, here's a good one. Skelhorn Prin.
Okay.
From Deep Space Nine, Darkness and the Light. Do you guys remember Skelhorn Prin? He's the guy who tried to rip the baby from the womb of Kira.
He was killing all of those other like.
He killed all her friends first.
Shakar resistance.
Yeah.
I have some quotes from him.
And then he wants to take the baby because it's not corrupted yet by her evil. So he's like, I'm gonna take your baby and raise it myself, and because you're evil and like it won't be corrupted by your evil. It's like it was twisted. It's almost hard to watch. It might be the most horrific of Star Trek villains and like episodes. Even it's like a horror movie almost.
Yeah, like when she's down in his little lair thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like at least an A, if not an S tier villain. Like I would put him up there with Fear.
Here he is.
No, Kira, I didn't murder anyone. You did. You killed them all.
And like he's mad about his disfigured face, and there's just so much going on there.
Don't you feel guilty? Don't you feel ashamed of what you did?
Like and like Madred even. Like I know we're ranking the Cardassians high, but man, he's just like a super like real character like Madred was, but with like kind of the like
my favorite part
elements of the clown and like
my favorite part is when Kira tears a strip of him.
For 50 years, you raped our planet, and you killed our people. You lived on our land, and you took the food out of our mouths, and I don't care whether you held a phaser in your hand, or you ironed shirts for a living. You were all guilty, and you were all legitimate targets.
So...
great villain. S tier for me. Like, I love that as a villain. Like
S tier.
For me. Like,
he's a Cardassian, so he belongs, but...
well, it's like a combination of Madred and the clown for me. It's with like the menace of the cargo container.
Well, and he breaks Kira throughout the episode, by slowly killing all her friends, and then and then that whole speech at the end, and while she's pregnant, she's dealing with all this too, right? So it's
he has like the scheming of a Bach too. Like he's got a lot of things going.
But he does agree to give her that sedative so that she won't feel pain, which is ultimately how he gets defeated. So he had a bit of compassion.
I hate to sound prejudiced and use the word humanizing. But like that almost humanizes the character. I guess I should call it Cardassianizing. But
the very term is racist.
Yes, the very term is racist. That's the thing that went through my mind there. Yeah.
But I think just as much as Madred brought out that really great bits of Picard and Patrick Stewart, Prin brought that out of Kira.
Right, and that's why I feel like Prin, Madred, like a villain also is what they bring out of your hero, right?
Mm-hmm,
and so.
Which is the strength of Khan too.
Yeah.
Right. I would even say you could say Q has that ability, right, to bring some of that out of Picard at times, but not
he
at
brings
the same level.
something out of Picard, but it's not quite to the level.
He brought some of the best out of Cisco too, right?
a nice crack to the jaw there for sure.
Yeah. No, Picard. So Skelhorn Prin. S tier or A? Yeah, he's pretty good. You're saying he's better than Gowron? You like him better than Gowron?
As a villain? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
More of a villain. Yeah.
All right. How about the Hirogen Commandant from the Killing Game? Carr is his name, yes.
Carr, yeah.
He's the one who took over Voyager and then made them all do the holodeck simulations and then get the Doctor to patch them up over and over again in Nazi-occupied France or in the Klingon simulation. But then eventually he turns kind of good at the end, and then his first officer kills him. And so
he was an all business guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just doing his job. He's one of those guys. Who else did we put in that just doing their job category?
Like Haggoth.
Yeah. Yeah, it poses a great question, right? If my culture is this, and I'm just doing a thing that enhances my culture, does that and that culture doesn't jive with yours? Does that make me the villain?
And he's actually trying to limit or lessen the brutality of his culture. Right now they were flying around just murdering everybody. He's like, well, why don't we just stick together and murder holograms instead?
And he's letting the crew forget. So when they go back into the hologram, they've forgotten all of the times that they were almost killed previously and fixed back up.
So like lessening trauma there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's trying not to be a bad guy.
He's trying not to be a bad
way.
guy, even though he clearly is. But like
a Moriarty type.
Maybe.
Like he's not doing it to torture them. He's doing it to entertain his underlings.
Yeah, the greatest hunt. Like, let's just have the greatest hunt possible. Like, look how great I am bringing this for you.
And he has a bit of a redemption too, and so I don't know.
And as far as like the obligatory Nazi episodes of Star Trek go, like it's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Davin, I think we need some more F tier villains though. Like, come on, we got to.
Yeah.
Who are the bad ones?
I'll find you an F tier. Don't even. Well, let me just go back to TOS here.
Wow.
Well, look, there's some bad ones. How about Roger Corby?
Roger Corby. Okay. Where's my Roger?
Roger Corby is just like a bit of an egotistical scientist, likes robots and ladies.
Yeah, he actually is an android. The original Corby died.
Yeah.
Right. So who are we talking about? I guess Andro Corby.
Here he is. Yeah, the Andro Corby.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then he ends up
F.
phasering himself while he's kissing the other android.
Yeah, he sucks. Corby sucks.
Yeah.
Schizoid Man's more interesting than Corby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Corby. Who else?
Nailed it. Nailed that F tier pick.
What about Toral, the son of Duras?
Oh, dude, yeah.
But he comes back in Deep Space Nine and throws a knife into Picard, doesn't he? Or tries to.
Tries to.
No, or not
into
Picard.
Cisco.
Cisco, yeah.
Toral, and then like Gowron's like, kill this kid, and then Worf doesn't, and you know.
He aims high. Imagine being like a 14-year-old kid or whatever the hell he was, and like speaking to the council and trying to command the leadership of your people. Like, he aims high.
Yeah, but even that scene where it's just like, oh, they're gonna catch us, but we were gonna beat them. But what are we gonna do now?
Oh yeah,
shut up,
little,
dude. Oh.
He's a little turd, isn't he?
Yeah, even Seela's like, shut him up.
Shut up, your Toral. Yeah,
he's worse than Sayla. F.
Yeah.
F.
Yeah.
Seela more effectual. At least she has warbirds. So
she is a warbird.
Well, she was trying to sneak like military supplies to the Klingons, right? To the bad Klingons in the Civil War. But
if you're a villain and everyone just finds you annoing, you're not a good villain.
Right. If the villains don't want
the
you
other
around.
villains,
the other villains are like, fuck, let's kill him.
Do we have anyone else like that? I try to say.
Yeah, we've got what's his name? He's the angel dude in the second.
Oh, the Gorgon?
Yeah.
Yes, from the original series. He's the one from the Children
Gorgon?
Shall Lead. The one where he's making them like see all these things.
Know.
Where the kids just do this motion all the time and it's really awkward.
He is
dude. Stop.
And then
They
they
reach.
have, like, their little chant, like their little like ring around the rosy chant they do to bring him out.
Fire, wind and snow, or something like that.
It's a season 3.
Too.
It's a season 3 episode.
F.
When F.
Yeah.
That
F.
whole episode is F.
Yeah. So bad.
Oh man, I wish I had him on quote.
It's so he's so bad. Children, I am clearly reading this right now, and I am having a hard time with it.
Yeah, actually, the guy who played him wasn't even an actor. He was some guy. What? Yeah, like I remember when we did this podcast about him, it was something like he somehow convinced Gene Roddenberry to let him play the part or something.
Well, he was an attorney for Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, he was like Gene Roddenberry's attorney.
Yeah, and he represented Jack Ruby pro bono in the Kennedy case. So like this guy's a real top-notch human being in general. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, let's do like 10 or 12 more, and that'll get us like halfway.
All right.
Okay, so here's another F tier for you. I'm pretty sure.
Can stack this F tier up quick.
We got Khan Noonien Singh, a.k.a. John Harrison, a.k.a. Benedict Cumberbatch.
The other version of Khan, as played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
It's not Khan. It's not anything. It's
let me ask you
the
this
worst
question.
decision in movie-making history.
Let me ask you this question, though, and maybe it's not even a fair question, but let me ask this. If he wasn't Khan, if they didn't do the recon of Khan...
Then he's just nothing. He's less offensive. but he's just kind of like a nothing.
I would like
less
him more.
memorable than Nero.
He's all like the thing is if he was a brand new character, Jeff, I think I would have more affection for him. And the movie I hate that movie. It's probably one of my least favorite Star Trek movies. He's
least
like,
favorite movies.
Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously a really good actor and has like a presence. And they tried.
Did he bring it in that movie? Did he have that presence in that movie?
Not really.
I think he brought. I think. God, I don't want to just bag on the movie, but given what he was working with, two, who he was working against, and what they were bringing, like, I mean, I feel like
it's not a great Zachary Quinto performance either.
Right? Yeah, you hand somebody a turd, you can only.
Because there's that opening scene where he gives the ring to the guy who's got the sick daughter to blow up the place, and I don't know, like, he's effectual, but he's
he's not as good as Moriarty.
He's not as good as
he's not a villain, and that's where
he's
he
not
lost
as good.
Points. But like,
he's not as good as Sela.
Like, no,
yeah. I'm gonna say F.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. F.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
not gonna. I no arguments from me. I hate that movie. And
yeah, because I think. I mean,
like, I want to. What are you gonna get from the worst written movie ever? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. I want to make the case just for conversation of like, what if they didn't do the whole con thing, but they did do the whole con.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
They did, and regardless of the con thing, like I can't, like the rest of the movie was pretty badly written too. There wasn't a lot there.
Yeah, like
there's
a lot of things I don't. Just when Zachary Quinto yells "con" and
I remember leaving the theater and be like, I can't believe they did that to me. Like I was so mad.
All right, next one. How about another Spiner? How about
what Sung you got here?
Which one is this? Which
Pick a
Sung is this? Eric Sung.
Sungs.
Eric Sung from Star Trek Enterprises, Borderland, Cold Station 12, and the Augments.
He's S tier.
But
he becomes sort of a good guy at the end.
He does come. He becomes a good guy, and he actually helps Archer like take them.
Yeah, but he's so good. It's such a good performance. It's like
it's a good performance. He's a bit effectual. He does manage to escape from them a few times, and he manages. But then he like realizes that his kids, the Augments, are more trouble than he can handle now.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of comes around. So I don't know exactly how to rank him as a villain because he's not a purely bad person, and he doesn't really. But he's willing to like destroy.
But then he just starts working on Khan. So like he's. Like they put him in prison to like reform him, and he just starts inevitably coming up.
No, he starts working on androids when they put him back in prison.
Oh, right,
Goes
he was
to cybernetics. Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, but he's
so
like
he created lore.
His like I guess he got out of prison and he told his son and grandson and whoever that they had to continue on the work. I guess
I feel like they just got his papers. Like every Sung just passes down the research to the next Sung.
Apparently,
just like keep going.
Yeah,
it's a big Bene Gesserit thing, and they pass on their memories.
A C,
like he's not an F tier. But he's almost a D tier because he's kind of like in this Moriarty category where his evilness is kind of not really all there for me.
But when he did go all in on his evil, it was
evil.
More than Moriarty did.
I can settle the C, but that's about as high as he deserves to be, I think.
I think a C is fair. Like unleashing the Augments, like that was a problem.
Yeah, and he does threaten to gas people and do some other stuff. So,
but he becomes sympathetic pretty quick, just because, like, well,
you realize that he's also just a dad, and he wants to be a dad.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
D.
It's kind of
he's barely a villain. Like you're right. He's kind of barely a villain.
Barely a villain. More of just a smart aleck, really.
Yeah, look what I did.
He's the scientist who doesn't know restraint. He's like anything I can do in the name of science is fine.
Yeah, he's
like
he's misguided. I would call.
Yeah, he's like peer review this.
Yeah,
that's a scientist joke. I think.
Well, you know what? Let's leave it there. Let's go to Malik then. What he unleashed on the world.
Malik is like the leader of the Augment kids.
Yeah. Now he like annoys the piss out of me. Like I can't stand Malik.
But more of a villain than
the
Eric.
Performance either. I'm not a big fan of the performance. But you know what? He annoys the piss out of me, so maybe that's what he was going for. And now I'm conflicted.
He's a C.
Yeah. Okay.
How many more?
We'll do like 5 more.
5 more.
Let's do. Okay, let's move her back up here. Let's do. Where's that? Let's do Ruafo.
Ruafu?
No! No! I knew that was going to be the lot. No! You never disappoint with your clips, Dave. You always grab the right one.
I love my Ruafu.
Like Fizbin. You played Fizbin during the Captain's Convention, and Jody's like, what's happening here? I'm like, yeah, he picked the perfect clip. He picked Fizbin. Very good performance.
Yes.
Very villainous.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a high tier villain for me, Ruafo. I'm like an insurrection defender. I really like that movie. Whereas it's
okay.
A lot of flack.
It's okay. It's you know, it's got some moments, but
it's like a good episode of TV.
I hate the title Insurrection because they insurrect against no one really. So
it wasn't a great title.
They mostly tell this admiral to go pound sand, and then he dies anyway. So it doesn't. But Ruafu I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know. I put him in the B maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like he's a Malcolm McDowell equivalent.
At best.
But I think he's a low end of B. I
could definitely see C also, like Ashley was saying, because I think without the Admiral, he's just, I don't know. I think that's what made it work.
Yeah.
I just think his performance is so much better than everything else in the C tier.
Mostly, yeah. He's kind of we can put him at the head of the C tier.
That works. I'm fine with that, I guess.
Or end of B, either one.
Yeah.
I just found that his kind of story was a little more sympathetic than Soren, who like Jeff said, Soren's just kind of an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to get back to his fix.
Y'all got any more of that Nexus?
But with Ruafo, the addiction is aging. It's youth. So I just feel like that's a little more.
That's a pretty, like, there have been stories about that as long as time, right? Trying to defeat age.
I don't know. I think we underestimate Ruafo, but that's fine.
I got one for you here, Davan.
Okay.
The Diviner.
Progeny.
My
progeny. The Diviner. Well, he's going through time because he's trying to stop the contact between, like, D. He's like his closest equivalent is Car. Because he's trying to find out
lit the fire.
The Diviner
us to
is
burn.
so much evil, is trying just to play his part in the survival of his people, kind of thing, just like Car.
Well, I almost see him as there's somebody else that we were talking about where, like, they're right. You know, like, from his point of view, the Federation is going to kill them.
Yeah, that's true. Like, accidentally or not, it's a fact as far as from the.
If he stops this thing from happening, then his people will live. If he doesn't stop this thing from happening, they will die. Like, he literally and you know. But I also think another theme we have. There's a redemption for him.
Yeah, there is a redemption for him, but it's and he sort of comes around.
He's like Car. I feel like Car is the guy.
My progeny. But he's also a maniac who enslaved many people.
Yeah.
So
and didn't let him
he's like Ellipsis.
Doesn't even call his kid by their name, just
progeny.
Just my progeny. Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to have a kid. Like, even in being a hero, broke all the rules for being a hero.
And she's just like a clone of him, right? She's not really his kid. She's just like a genetic variant of him or something.
I think so, yeah. Like, it's a little bit. unclear because we don't know a ton about their species otherwise. But yeah, like I think he's a pretty
C
tier.
C or D.
I put him in B. I think he's
What?
I put him in. I vote B.
You agree with B, Jeff?
I do.
What about you, Ashley? You haven't seen Prodigy?
I've watched the first 3 episodes, but I just can't get over how much it reminds me of Star Wars cartoons, and I have
the first
trouble
3
getting
episodes
into
are very much like that, and then it
gets
yeah. I was out, and then I became in. Yeah,
it just makes me feel like I'm watching Clone Wars, and it throws me off.
Yeah. It starts.
You like Clone Wars, don't you?
I do, but I actually really do. But the mix, it was just. I wish the animation was a little less Star Warsy.
Yeah,
I like Star Wars and I like Star Trek, and I like them to be 2 separate things.
Mm-hmm.
If I watch Star Trek Clone Wars, the entire cast has to be Jeffrey Combs, or I riot.
Yes, absolutely.
I will pay to make that series happen.
We'll start the GoFundMe.
I want an entire live action episode where every character is played by Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be great.
But yeah, I see the Diviner in a similar vein as Vatic. A more effective villain, not as well portrayed, which I think kind of balances them out.
Yeah. I'm with you. Okay, so Davan, can you live with B tier?
Progeny,
Progeny
times a day. So
yeah, I love Progeny.
Let's do a couple more.
What who you got? Anyone in mind?
Well, yeah, I do. The great hero himself, Canada's own
Michael Eddington.
My lucky
Canada's greatest hero.
Is that
First time a Star Trek character gets made Canadian, we get Michael Eddington.
Yeah,
and I love Eddington. I just love
bro
him.
is S tier, all the way.
As a villain,
oh yeah,
he brings so much out of Cisco.
Yeah,
Cisco
blows up a planet because of it.
Cisco has Dukat as a nemesis, but Eddington's almost a better nemesis.
Yep. At least they tell you about their plans for assimilation.
I'm with you.
You're more insidious. You assimilate people, and they don't even know it.
It's part of why I love Deep Space Nine so much. Yeah, people will tell you it's antithetical to the Roddenberry vision, but Eddington is the thing where it's no, we're going to test the Roddenberry vision, and then we're going to prove it. It proves
DS9's
out.
The litmus test for the
exactly.
vision.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's all right, now let's compare the vision to real life for a minute for 7 seasons.
All right, Javert.
He's a bigger villain to Cisco than Dukat because he betrayed his uniform, and Cisco finds that he takes that person.
Yeah.
That's beyond forgivable. You
got that clip, right?
Oh, I do.
You betrayed your uniform!
That's right.
God, yes.
Love it.
He is honestly the character in Star Trek I hate the most.
Eddington?
He's my S tier villain. He's my nemesis.
I love him.
I
don't know why. I just love him.
Is he
I hate Dukat so much, but I just love it.
Would you say Eddington is not as good as Solar and Prin? Because I think he's just as good. I think in a different way. But,
he's just as good, but it's different. Solar and Prin is far more evil. Eddington's not an evil person.
Eddington thinks he's the protagonist, right? So,
well,
he
all the Maquis
thinks he's doing the right thing,
and maybe they are. That's the thing about the Maquis Federation dynamic. It's just who is right? No one. It's messy. That's the thing. It's messy, and that's what's great about Deep Space Nine is they show you how the world and life can just be messy.
Why is the Federation so obsessed with the Maquis?
Why?
Because they turned down paradise. That's what he said.
You betrayed your uniform.
We rejected paradise, and you guys can't handle that because you think everyone should want paradise. Yeah. He's just some of us don't. Some of us want to friggin' have rotten tomatoes.
Yeah, some people want parking lots.
Yeah, I don't.
You know how hard it is to grow tomatoes?
You got to get a good start on them, Eddington. It's all about the start, bud.
It's always too cold or too hot.
All right, well, all right, on who I'm picking next now that we're poking at my sustainable landscaper brain a little bit.
Oh, I know you're going to.
Yeah, I know.
What's his
Where
name?
is he? It's like Controller something. Controller Emp. How do you say that?
Controller Emp. Yeah, he's from the episode Night of Voyager. He's he's the first Malon we ever meet. Let
me make the case. Like, I would throw him S tier, and this is crazy.
Wow.
But here's why. Here's why. He's maybe the most true to life Star Trek villain we ever gotten to that point and since. He is just a corporate polluter. And the way the episode plays out, it's one of the most, it's maybe my favorite Voyager episode. It's one of them. It's one of the best Star Trek episodes as far as like depicting problems with our world now. And so he's a total corporate polluter. He's just like, yeah, but this helps my bottom line. Like, no one knows I dumped this here, and that's why I'm the best at this. But they're like, yeah, so here's what we got for you. Here's how you can fix your whole society and not have to kill these people in the void. He's like, yeah, but you know what? That's bad for my bottom line. And that's exactly what all these corporate polluters that exist in our world now say. Like the power companies could switch to wind and solar power. Like there's tons of options, like examples. Like people don't have to have monoculture lawn. Don't get me started on monoculture lawns. I'll be talking for an hour and a half. But like all this stuff is a choice, and it's corporate apathy, and not even apathy. It's like the opposite. It's like they're working against positive change. A lot of entities in this world, and that's exactly what this guy is.
He reminds me of the villains.
Care.
Like you're
so small.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers,
he's a small person in a big world, and that's what too much of the problem in our own world is. It's small, selfish, single-minded people that aren't thinking about the grand scheme of things.
It's part of the magic of Star Trek, the way it can hold a mirror up to us, right, and be like, here it is.
And this is one of the best examples of that, I think.
Yeah.
And it can hold a mirror up, and 25 years later, it still resonates.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
More so.
That's the tragedy of Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's all great, but there's no way this guy is an S tier villain. Like, this guy.
For me, he is.
He's willing to kill his own people.
Yeah, his own people and other people.
But
like, they offered him the cure for his whole planet. Like, here's the the problem with your planet is excess pollution. It's like it shortens your lives. Well, he says their planet's paradise.
But Prime Directive.
Waste elsewhere, but what?
Janeway doesn't do anything about him.
Janeway never follows the Prime Directive.
Yes, she does. She collapses the corridor. So he can't pollute into the void anymore.
Okay, once.
He'll just go do it somewhere else.
He'll just go do it somewhere else. She doesn't chase him down and stop him forever. It's...
Well, that's Voyager for you. That's why we had trouble coming up with villains for Voyagers. They just keep moving on so fast. They can't delve into the problems.
Yeah. But I think that there are other Malon even better than him, as villains.
Who?
The one that comes later. Like, there's a few that come later, but I just don't think this
What do they do?
They do polluting.
That's what I think. That's my argument against him being S tier. Is it's not him, it's the Malon.
It's
the Malon.
And he's
but
one
the
of
other Malon aren't offered the cure for their entire society. And
but if
turn
they
it
were,
down for an extra few bucks,
right? But I think what we know of their, and this is again the thing with Voyager, what we know, of their culture, none of them, they're not interested in cleaning it up. Like, they don't have scientists.
I would say the 1% isn't interested in cleaning it up, but I think some of the lower deckers on the ship, the ones that are getting poisoned and dying, and the only reason they're doing this job is for the money and or so their family can get the money when they die. I think if they were given the chance for a cure, they would 100% take it. So it's the 1%ers.
Well, that's what's super interesting about this character is that most of the the CEOs of the corporate polluters in our world aren't suffering these effects. They're living just fine. they'll live to, well, who knows how their drinking habits are, but they'll probably live to be 90 and rich in whatever.
Right.
But this guy actually is suffering these effects. He even says he's going to live for 30 years less. He has kids that he won't get to see grow up. And, like, he still rejects the cure. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's madness. Like, he's not only this insane polluter and murderer of these void people, but he's completely insane. That's madness. That's madness.
So I would say that's almost the argument that I made with the Hirogen. So he's really just the hallmark of his culture, doing what his culture does.
Yeah.
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 But no. Because Carr is trying to better his society. That's why he's experimenting. Yeah. The opposite is the case with this Malon. He's offered the betterment of his society and rejects it.
Which
Carr
is where
does
I think
the opposite. He accepts the holodeck technology.
Yeah, which is where I think puts Carr at that lower villain level because he had that redemption. Dude doesn't. MCOT doesn't. Which I just can't see him as an S tier. I think
or even A tier. Like
right? Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
B is so like
B is generous. Yeah.
B is generous. This guy's he's somewhat forgettable. We had to remind ourselves who he was.
Like I get he's in my wheelhouse as a villain, so I'll accept B. But he definitely can't go any lower than that. He's
all right, we'll settle on B for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that it?
What about, let's one more each, and then let's get out of here.
All
then
right.
we'll be at an even 2 hours, and we'll come back for 2 hours another day and finish this Herculean task.
Still lots to go. So
before you guys showed up, I was just like, "Yeah, don't worry about it, Jeff. We'll get through this as quick as we did the 40 captains."
No way. I knew this was going to be a marathon.
Well,
there's more to talk about with villains than captains.
Right.
I thought it was going to be the other way around. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just thinking that so many of these characters were so forgettable, we just wouldn't say anything about them. But
some of them are more nuanced, right? So it's hard to really categorize some of them.
All right, one more each. I know what one I'm ending with.
Okay, so Jeff, you got one stands out there?
Oh wow, yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's do 4 more, one each. Ashley and Jeff get one too.
Just for my Babylon 5 level, hit my sound drop here.
Oh, yes.
Tomalak.
Yes!
How much longer must we stare across the neutral zone at each other?
S
tier. Tomalak?
My favorite TNG villain by like 1,000 miles.
Andreas Katsulas, who plays him. So he has one episode where he had to show up in person. Every other episode, he was on the view screen. Yeah. And he told them that if they ever wanted him to show up in person again, he would never be on the show again because Tomalak is a larger-than-life, looming-in-your-face guy, and you need just his face on the view screen. So he didn't come back until the very last episode. All good things because they wouldn't do it.
Oh, he's so good. He's S tier for me.
He's
really, like what everyone thinks Khan is as this very witty repartee sort of villain, but like 10 times better at it. Like
he's pretty good. I would put him like probably on par with Gowron for me. Like he seems, but he's I don't know. I'd sign off A tier for him.
Yeah, I would have a hard time putting him above Gowron.
Yeah,
he's A for
Ashley.
me too.
All right, I lose,
but he's awesome.
Fine.
He's really good, but he's maybe not. He's not at Eddington level, or he's not at at
but he's so
Goldman awesome. Dread level. He is great. He's my favorite Romulan by far. But
exactly.
But
all right, Ashley, you pick one.
Yeah, of who you see in the crowd here.
My S tier, my ultimate S tier out of all of Star Trek, Kai Wynn.
Okay,
bingo. Yeah.
Hard to argue this.
She's the cause of a lot of my internet arguments where people try to claim that she's a worse person than Dukat, and I have to remind them how that's 100% not the case. But yes, she's also bad.
Patience, child.
I think she's on the same level as Dukat.
Yeah. No, she's just an ambitious, selfish narcissist, whereas he's like, a slaver, a murderer, a rapist, all these horrible things. She's none of those things.
She's a murderer. She did try to assassinate Vedic Bareil.
But all that still is nowhere near.
And she did.
He does nowhere near.
She took over the Bajoran government and she was hunting down her own people in the mountains, until Shakar got involved.
And she does it all in the name of religion. Like,
Yes,
oh.
and it's like insidious.
Yeah, but
they're-
but who doesn't do bad things in the name of religion?
Well, I don't know, but she definitely.
That's religion.
and I think all of them are
That's literally its
villains.
purpose.
Kaya Paka seemed all right, you know.
Yeah, look how it worked out for
Oh,
her.
yeah, Paka was nice.
Yeah.
Some of those hardier pinches. Quite aggressive.
Yeah.
You may go now,
Yeah.
child.
I agree she's an S tier villain.
Oh yeah, by far.
She's
easily.
just not as nearly as evil as
She's not, but again, she's you understand her motivations. She's got this like passive aggressiveness to her that's so awesome. Like it's her stuff with Cisco.
She has one sympathetic line too, where she's like, "You resistance fighters think you were the only ones who fought."
Right.
But she's like
Yeah, but she
I was
wasn't
in prison the
fighting
entire time. Like
she wasn't fighting for Bajor. She was fighting for her own advancement. Like
certainly after the occupation,
she doesn't care. She just wants to be in charge. She wants everything to go her way. The way she treats Cisco, like she's the worst.
Yeah, she's not. She's pretty bad. Okay.
Dukat at least helps out every now and then. Even if it doesn't serve him. She only helps out if it serves her.
No, she's helped out a few times too.
Right, here's
because it serves her.
Here's my final pick for the
so
tonight.
Oh,
Cybok. Star Trek 5.
How villainous is he really?
Dude's
you played him, you tell me.
Cybok is a victim. Like he got worked by God or whatever God was. You know what I mean though? Like he just wanted to go to Shakari. It's all he wanted to do.
Shakari, man.
Share your pain.
Yeah, he didn't hurt anybody. He took their pain away.
And they were strengthened by
the joining.
Right?
He got no love as a child.
Yeah,
He's
his
a
mom.
victim.
No Vulcans do.
But okay, we might.
Spock did though, because Spock had at least had Amanda.
We might change our opinion of him after Strange New Worlds, who I think are going to try to do something with him in the near future.
You think they're going to do Cybok?
Well, they already teased him, right? In season 1.
Showed his back in season 1.
He's back.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are going to get a younger Cybok at some point. But we can only go based on this one movie.
I should play young Cybok.
You should.
You should.
I played him in radio theater.
Yeah, you were great in that radio theater. You're like, give me your pain. But Cybok as a villain, he doesn't do a lot. He doesn't do a lot of villainous things other than take hostages. And
he just takes hostages.
So
he's not nearly as evil as like Elixis.
Is he D tier?
He's a D tier. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a D tier. All right. Well, there you go.
But well, this one, Dave, you can rank my last pick.
Okay.
Like take the opening volley on this one.
Sure.
Sex Candle.
All right, Rodin. Okay, and he is.
How nefarious can a sex candle be? Dave, you tell us.
He's a D level or a C level. Maybe a C level.
C level candle.
Beverly.
I don't know. That seems kind of high.
Do not touch the candle. It will ruin your family. You know.
Anyone else have any opinions on this sex candle?
I think he's an F.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
That's where I want to put him.
He didn't. It's not like he was doing like all those women had a lot of orgasms,
right?
And they lived for a very long time. I mean,
well, Ashley, this was what 1994.
This is season 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point, honestly, Ashley, women having orgasms would have made him a villain because, like, that's
true.
That's not okay to do.
How dare he? He wasn't married to any of those women.
Exactly. He's
right.
evil. So through a more modern, enlightened
S tier.
lens, in the mid '90s, S tier, but through a modern and enlightened lens, we can say F.
He did kill one person, and then he took over the grandmother. Remember? And
who did he kill? The old man.
Yeah, but she was already dead.
Yeah, she was already dead. But then she's like, "Get out of my grandmother!"
Oh, no, that groundskeeper might have died of old age.
I'm sure he would have eventually, but
well, likely. Unless he started getting it on with the sex candle.
And
That's
I thought you
would
would appreciate. I keep telling Jody that Sub Rosa is one of the best TNG episodes ever, but whatever.
You're not serious.
Oh, I've I like Sub Rosa.
Sub Rosa's
For
great.
for its ridiculousness. Like it's up there for me.
It's the
with,
Spock's
like,
brain of TNG.
Move Along Home.
I skip
No,
it.
it's
I
up
can't
there
handle
for me
Sub
with like
Rosa.
Move Along Home. Like it's just
Move Along Home is fantastic.
I love Move Along Home.
Yeah, it's great.
A la Moraine!
A fun, ridiculous watch. Like I love those kind of the silly ones that
There you go. All right, well then we're pausing here, right? So we have
we're
all
gonna
these
call
people.
this the first Shap. We'll come
still
back
have-
for the second Shap.
We still have some
only
great
children
characters to
start
come.
on the first Shap.
Yeah, we still have the Duras sisters. We still have Valeris. We still have Harry Mudd. We still got Sloane. We got Takuvma.
Badgie.
We got Badgie. We got, yeah.
I was gonna tank
Yes.
throw him
We got
firmly into the F tier, but I didn't
the
get
female
there.
changeling from Deep Space Nine. We got a Nobrin Tain. We got many more to come. The Gorn.
Lots of good stuff.
It's the Gorn.
It's the Gorn.
That's right.
It's the Gorn.
All right. Well, so have a look there. Tell us if I guess we'll have a chance to revise this once we come back for part 2. So
We'll bring somebody else on to talk sense into us too.
Right.
We'll get Puxley in on
What
the
is
next
wrong
one.
with you? What is
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, bring this down then. So. And
All right. Well.
I'll fight to the death for the cargo container, though.
Yeah, me
It will
too.
beat you. It will beat you.
It will win.
It defeated Worf. Nobody does that. Like we can't stress that enough. Did you know that we are a member of a united federation of these podcasts? It's
I
true.
did know.
It's true. Well, you would know. You
I know. I'm a founder of the
Yeah.
Federation.
Look at
It's
you.
true. Yeah, he is. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitches, and you can contact us at Locutors@gmail.com. At least you can contact my divisions that way. And you can find the audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, we are a member, or a proud member of these United Federation of Podcasts, on which we have many shows, much Star Trek content. Look at that handsome bunch. That is
Yes.
a handsome bunch of Star Trek fans right there. And we talk about Star Trek in our many Star Trek divisions. And of course, we have X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show, every Tuesday. This Tuesday, we will be interviewing the voice of Nightcrawler, Adrian Huff, who will also be returning for the new series. So that'll be very exciting to talk to him, an environmentalist like myself. So we'll have a lot in common, I'm sure. And of course, my co-host on that show has the Graphic Histories podcast. And he told me who his next guest is, and now I am blanking. But it's like a Marvel comic artist for sure. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, I'm blanking.
He should
So
really give
anyway.
us notes.
Well, it's not his style. And we have Hold Up a Movie podcast where me and Murphy yell at each other about movies.
Yes. But how
Sometimes
much
we yell at Dave. Sometimes
you
we yell at our guests.
You yell at your guest and tell them how wrong they are about movies. So yeah.
That's what we do over there. But it's a fun show. Ashley's coming on next season.
I am.
Yeah. My brother's next week, right?
Yep.
For time travel episodes? Time travel
Everyone's
movies?
already yelling at him for picking Sphere. People are always like, "What did you pick?" And he's like, "Sphere." And people are like, that's a terrible time travel. What are you talking about? But like, yeah. But he's already getting flack, and he hasn't even been on the show yet.
Yeah, well,
It's a contentious show. It just brings
You
out the
follow.
worst in everybody.
You can follow in my footsteps when I brought on the American president for political movies. And,
Oh God!
They were like, "This
I
is
don't
trash."
know that. It is trash. The movie's trash. But there's also the Super Mater brothers, where you won't get better reality show reviews than over there. That's-
No, actually, Jaemeel and Jeff and Foster are on right now talking about Big Brother 25.
They're on there right now talking about the 86th season of Big Brother.
25th.
So 74th. They're talking about it.
47th.
47th. Next year it'll be 47. They get through them quick. And of course, there's Eamon on Track, where they review albums. You and Eamon just reviewed The Wait. Oh, you and Jeff.
The
as
band,
well.
the band, The Last Waltz.
Oh yeah, and they have the song "The Wait."
Yeah, that's one of the
Last
songs on the
Waltz.
album. Yes, and so we just did the Last Waltz with my brother and Eamon, and before that we did the Bee Gees One Night Only album. So.
And of course, there's the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan. They're on hiatus. And Trivial Debates. There
Coming
may
up
be
soon.
an office one if Murphy can find contestants.
If you can find
So
3 people who like The Office, will be great. So. Should be easy.
These questions are too hard. You got to go back to the drawing board, Murphy. You're not going to get anyone in with those questions. It's too crazy. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, what is their Babylon 5 contest?
Yeah, Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast.
That's actually part of the title, not a Star Trek podcast?
Yeah. So the whole shtick is it's myself and my co-host Brent Allen. He had his Star Trek podcast is done, but it's called Beam Me Up, a Star Trek podcast, where it was one of those, hey, I've seen this a bunch and this person's never seen it before, but they tried to distill all of Star Trek down into like the essential 100 episodes. And got it down to about 120, 130 and walked through it. And so our whole shtick was basically that. We're two Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the first time. And we get that sweet Star Trek SEO by having that in the title.
Oh, right. Because we kind of need that in the Babylon 5 community. Because you see right here, I got the Babylon 5 poster.
Oh, there it is.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. And I got this Babylon 5 replica of like their PPG gun.
The PPG, yeah. We have an awesome person in our community who is 3D printing us some PPGs right now.
Yeah, well, mine's 3D printed as well. You can even take the little cap out and whatever. And so
nice. Yeah, some cool stuff out there.
Look, you guys can just take the top here.
Right. You guys let's talk Babylon 5 for a while.
Do your little Babylon 5 thing.
Third age of mankind. Yeah. 10 years after the Earthman Body War.
Right.
Look, it's as good as anything written by J. Michael Straczynski can be. That's what I'll say about Babylon 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Earth Alliance.
Earth Alliance, yeah. Who right now, for me, those are not good people. So I don't know if that changes.
Well, yeah, they come back.
Oh my, Babylon 5 is funny. And there's a remake coming. How about that?
That's what they see. That's what they say. There are people. There's actually someone made a video saying that Brent and I were hired to tank the reboot because people were so angry that we talk about Star Trek while we talk about Babylon 5. Apparently, it's a touchy subject.
That would upset people.
So, yeah.
Right.
But Andreas Katsoulis is in it. How can you not talk about
Majel Barrett is in it. Walter Koenig is in
Walter
it.
Koenig, yeah.
Walter Koenig. There's a bunch of Star Trek people and other great shows, yeah. Like and some of these Babylon 5 people went on to Star Trek, like Bill Mummy and others. So.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he played that. He's one of the best DS9 episodes.
Yeah,
Bill Mummy.
So good.
That's a tearjerker. All right, well let's get out of here, or we never will. And then we'll work out a time to come back and finish this list.
Yep.
I don't know what we were thinking, Dave.
No, I couldn't stop you, man. Like you're like, as I was going along, I was like, oh yeah, if we include this villain, then we have to include this, one. So it just kind of spirals.
And I was happy with like 5 people from TOS, and then Dave's just like, we need 20 people from TOS. I was like, all right, fine, but that's fine.
We'll get them all. We'll get them all done eventually.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. All right. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me. This is a blast. It's great meeting you all.
Thanks for staying with us for 2 hours and going through this. So.
Things get out of hand sometimes over here at the United Federation of Podcasts.
Imagine getting a bunch of Star Trek nerds together and then talking for hours about Star Trek.
Right. Who would have ever thought, right?
Sounds awful.
There's Kevin. Kevin's been there seething in the background the entire time. You have anything to say, Kevin, before we go?
He can't even hear you. I've got headphones on.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say? He does not.
No. Okay. Live long and podcast, everybody.
Take care. See you next time.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's the wrong theme music.
Oh no!
My God. I got fat fingers.